Chapter 3, Spark of Life. What is the difference between soul and spirit? We are all spirits that have souls that live in bodies. In the breath of spirit, defining inspiration, to be inspired is to be in spirit. Today, when we hear the term inspiration, our minds immediately jump to brilliant ideas, strokes of genius, or the driving force behind artistic endeavors. The term is synonymous with a mental nudge to do or feel something, especially in the realm of creativity. But like many words, its depth lies in its roots. What does inspiration mean? Today, inspiration is perceived as a sudden, creative, or timingly idea, the mental stimulation urging us to act or feel in a certain way. Historically tracing back to the 1300s, inspiration signified the immediate influence of God or a god. Derived from Latin, the term inspirare translates to blow into, breathe upon, or figuratively inspire and incite flames. Essentially, to be inspired was to be in tune with one's soul, to be in spirit. Spirit's origin. Spirit, a term originating in the mid-1300s, alludes to the animating or vital principle in man and animals. Its Latin root signifies breath of God, hence life and inspiration. The very act of breathing from pi to blow, the association with breath takes a fascinating turn when we consider our lungs as our very windpipes. They play the melody of life. Church organs. Consider church organs, where windpipes channel air to create harmonious music, much like a spiritual offering. These mirror our own bodies, where our lungs, our biological windpipes, channel life-giving air to sustain us. Just as the organ's pipes are essential for its music, our lungs are vital for our vitality, fueling our organs with the breath of life. This parallel between the organ's music and our body's functions highlights a profound spiritual connection, illustrating how our physical being can be seen as a vessel for a higher expression of life. Do you think that it's merely a coincidence, or are you now seeing the hidden clues left in our words? In ancient languages, the word soul is the same as breath and wind. Let's look at some of the oldest languages. In these ancient languages, a single word indeed encapsulates the concepts of soul, breath, and wind. For instance, in Greek, the word pneuma can mean breath, wind, spirit, or soul. In Hebrew, ruah meaning breath, wind, and spirit. These examples illustrate a linguistic and cultural understanding where the essence of life, the soul, the act of breathing, and the movement of air, meaning wind, are all deeply interconnected, reflected in one single term. Just as breathing is an effortless, natural process orchestrated by the soul, so is the act of inspiration. When inspiration strikes, it's like the spirit flowing through us seamlessly, a spontaneous and authentic expression of our inner selves. This effortless emergence of ideas and creativity, much like the soul's natural role in guiding our breath, highlights the intrinsic and profound nature of inspiration as a manifestation of the spirit within us. Inspiration versus motivation. I bet you thought inspiration and motivation were the same thing. Definitely not. They are very different. Everything taught in School of Soul is taught in such a way as to encourage change from a place of inspired action, because only inspiration is everlasting once you cultivate the proper environment for it to blossom. What is the difference between inspiration and motivation? It's all about the why. When actions stem from your soul's genuine calling, they are infused with joy and passion. These actions are inspired, emanating from a deep inner source. In contrast, motivation can be fleeting, a temporary drive, often influenced by external rewards. Imagine pursuing a dream that aligns with your soul's purpose, such as creating art that reflects your deepest emotions or starting a business that resonates with your core values. In these pursuits, inspiration acts as a guiding light, leading you towards actions that fulfill your soul's aspirations. Inspiration is magical, a reflection of your soul's desire to express itself. It's about embracing tasks that resonate deeply, ensuring that every endeavor is genuine and enjoyable. This form of action is sustainable and deeply personal, driven by passion for the activity itself, rather than external rewards. Motivation is not lasting. Motivation, while useful in some contexts, often lacks a soulful connection. It's like striving for a goal because it's expected or because it offers a tangible reward, not because it's a true expression of your inner self. The carrot before the horse analogy, a method where a carrot is dangled just outside of a horse's reach to motivate it forward, aptly symbolizes how external rewards drive action. That carrot represents the goal, propelling the horse until it is reached. However, this motivation is fleeting, vanishing once the goal is achieved, highlighting the transient nature of such incentives. This contrasts with inspiration, which stems from a deeper, intrinsic desire, providing a sustainable drive that doesn't fade after reaching a single goal. Unlike the temporary pursuit of motivation, inspiration offers a continuous path of growth and fulfillment. Motivation is a fleeting tactic that wanes and eventually no longer works. This is why many give up on their goals. The reason they are doing it is not connected enough to their soul's purpose, to act from a place of inspiration. Instead, they use motivation to get through life. If I do X, I will get Y. Your journey should be guided by inspiration, not motivation. When your actions align with your soul's true desires, you find a sense of fulfillment and joy that transcends external achievements. This is the essence of living a life in harmony with your soul's purpose. For example, pursuing a career not just for the financial success, but because it aligns with your passion and values is an act of inspiration. It's about finding joy in the process itself, not just the outcome. When you are driven in life by your why, you will act with enjoyment and not because you want to get something. It may seem like both could get you the life you want, but that is just not correct. Inspiration will prove that you act as you wish to aspire. External motivation or internal inspiration is the same as saying short game versus long game. Extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation. Your goals will take work, and sometimes we will be driven from within by inspired action. Sometimes you must allow yourself to begin with motivation when you lack inspiration. That being said, the work should always feel good to you. When you are not inspired to act, it is okay to need to motivate yourself, but it should never feel bad or out of alignment. Challenges are supposed to be tests of willpower or determination. They should never feel wrong or out of alignment. If they do, you are doing something you shouldn't be doing. Intrinsic motivation arrives from within, driven by personal satisfaction and internal rewards. It's the joy of doing something for its own sake. This type of motivation is deeply personable and sustainable, often leading to long-term engagement and satisfaction. Intrinsic, adjective, arising from internal factors motivated by a personal satisfaction or the joy of doing something. Versus extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, is fueled by external rewards or recognition. While it can provide a starting point, it often lacks depth and sustainability. This type of motivation can lead to a short-term boost, but may not support your long-term goals or personal growth. Extrinsic, adjective, driven by external factors such as rewards, recognition, or fear of negative consequences. Inspired action. All moves made from a place of inspired action are power moves. Inspired action blends the depths of intrinsic motivation with a soulful alignment. It occurs when actions not only bring personal joy, but also resonate with one's deeper purpose or values. This form of motivation ensures that every step on the journey is rewarding and meaningful. Inspired action are actions that are not only intrinsically motivated, but also aligned with one's deeper purpose or values. Inspired actions are actions that follow your being, guided by the divine. It's action taken when there is a clear connection between the universe and your soul. A more mainstream concept that might be more familiar to you is flow state. Flow state is when actions come easily and freely, fueled by being energetically tapped into a source of inspiration. In essence, it is just another way of saying inspired action. Flow state or inspired actions is a sign of direct connection with our source. How do you know if you are not acting from inspired action? Well, it's easy. You dread the work. You avoid the action. You procrastinate. You make yourself busy with anything and everything else. Inspired action never feels forced, and you never find yourself avoiding it. It is an action that comes from a sense of joy and wanting to do what you are doing. It's the kind of action you always look forward to, make time for, and lose track of time while you're doing it. Another way to think about the meaning of inspired action is by looking at the composition of the word. Inspiration comes from the combination of the words spirit plus action. Inspiration, noun. Spirit means breath or breathing. Inspiration means in-breathing. Inspiration translates to something of divine breath. The word in spirit appears in some older dictionaries. It is basically defined as having spirit run through your veins. Whenever you are in spirit, you are thus full of soul. When you are not in spirit, you are soulless. This meaning disappeared from more recent dictionaries, but that is a story for another time. You can take inspired action to mean actions that result from receiving divine messages. In the same vein, you can think of it as the most pure type of action because it is an action prompted by your soul in response to the divine. Essentially, inspired action is your soul taking action towards your soul's purpose. It is the active part of the co-creative process. When the space you've created allows messages to come through, you must do your part by taking inspired action on the guidance that you have received. To truly thrive, shifting from extrinsic motivation to inspired action is key. This shift involves aligning one's goals and actions with inner values and passions. It's about finding and following the call of the soul. ensuring that every endeavor is genuine, enjoyable, and in harmony with one's true self. In goal setting and achieving one's sole purpose, the distinction between short-term goals and long-term goals is crucial. Short-term goals, often driven by extrinsic motivation, can provide immediate results and gratification, but lack depth and alignment with one's deeper purpose. In contrast, long-term goals, nurtured by intrinsic and inspired motivation, focus on fulfillment and personal growth that resonates with the soul. This approach fosters lasting joy and a more authentic life journey, as it aligns with the core of one's being and true aspirations, leading to genuine and sustainable achievement. When spirit decreases, does the spirit come and go? Inspiration comes and goes. Have you ever felt so charged, so in tune with the universe that ideas just seem to cascade effortlessly? That is when you're truly in spirit. But let's keep it real. These moments of electric inspiration aren't a daily affair for any of us. We all have those spiritless phases where the spark seems to have fizzled out. And it's hard, especially when you've tasted that exciting feeling of being one with your spirit. There's this nagging fear that what if the inspiration never returns? What if the spirit decides to take an extended vacation? Remember, every high has its low. The trick is not to get lost in the void, but to understand that it's just part of the journey. Will inspiration be there in the morning? One of my mentors once said something to me I could never shake from my soul. If the inspiration is there, you better use it, because it might not be there when you wake up. I felt that way because to be inspired is to be in spirit. When you're truly in a flow state, it comes out of you. Like whatever you are making, creating, doing, learning, like it just happens. And you also know what happens when that feeling goes away. Have you ever gone to bed with energy and excitement about a project, goal, mission, but woken up and that buzz of excitement and inspiration was suddenly gone? You were suddenly no longer inspired enough to continue. That's the worst. When inspiration is present, when the spirit is running through your veins, allow it to come through, for you never know when it's going to take its next hiatus.